welcome back to the Atma Podcast, where we give you the tips, tools, and strategies you need to be successful. My name is Brian, and I'll be your host today, and we've got our interns back. Say hello, ladies.
Hi, I'm Ivy.
Hi, I'm Bree.
You know, I was just like, say hello, ladies. I'm like, hello, but they're like, Ivy. All right, so ladies, we have been talking about communication between Gen Z and the different generations, but specifically understanding Generation Z, how to market you to, specifically to your generation. And you guys decided to talk about gamification, tangible experience and user-generated content, and most importantly, how to influence Gen Z. Point of view as far as marketing is slight. I don't know what that means. So if you're watching this and you're just as lost as me, I've given them full liberty to talk about the topics that they want to talk about. I'm just here as your host. So full transparency, I'm confused too. So ladies, explain to me this topic. What is this topic all about?
So this topic is just about getting to interact with your audience, especially with Gen Z. Gen Z loves interaction, which kind of goes hand with gamification, tangible experiences, and then user-generated content is what Gen Z gives to you to what you're able to use as your content.
Okay. So talk to me about basically giving us the more power to the content you guys generate. Is that what we're talking about, or?
Yeah, so it's basically like what you post and what we comment, then you can work off that. So we're kind of helping you get your content.
You're helping me, the business owner. Okay, well, see, so
I like stuff that's interactive and that I can actually have a tangible engagement with the product or with the company. So things like quizzes, polls, or, just commenting back, I feel like is really great to engage your audience and to also, get Gen Z on there, because we want to be able to actually see what you're doing and then also be able to have some sort of effect in it or some sort of say in what your product is.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because, we actually have a case study that actually happened fairly recently with one of our clients, Nutrition Nation. I don't know if you've been working with Andrea and the social media team, but she likes to do quizzes on social media. And over the weekend, it blew up because what she did was she started to repost some of the answers on the stories, and then more and more people were like, well, look at me, this is my answer, right? They started to get involved, and it just became a viral, it was a domino effect, right? Where it's just response after response. It actually drew a ton of engagement. And it's funny because Nutrition Nation is a supplement store. They do supplements for health and wellness. If you're at the gym, you do pre-workout vitamins and that nature. But she did a simple quiz on Instagram, and it was just viral. I don't know what happened, right?
Well, we want to feel valued as Gen Z, I think. And so that's actually a very popular tactic that people use. They will go and take, a comment or an answer, and then they'll go off of that and add more content to it and respond to that. And I feel like it makes people feel like you saw them and that what they said mattered. And I really like personalized content too. So something like Spotify Wrap, for example.
Oh, I love those.
I love it so
gosh.
much. It's so fun.
Yes.
I wait all year to get my Spotify Wrapped. Essentially what it is that they'll take the data from your playlist all year of what music you've been listening to, and then they'll personalize something for you. And it's super cool and interactive, and I love it.
I love those.
So how do you teach a business owner? Because a lot of business owners are trapped right now, and that's because most business owners are 35 and up, right?
Yeah.
They're actually, some of them are even older than millennials, some of them older than Gen X, right? And so how do you teach them, hey, look, because when you're doing social media for them, you're doing content for them, and they don't understand why we have to do all these fun quizzes and stuff like that. They just don't understand it. They think everything is about call to action. I just need leads. So how do you teach somebody, hey, that's not what social media is all about?
That's kind of a really hard question because, not to be mean or anything, but some older people are slightly dense.
Oh, dense. Okay, that's a nice word. Right? Okay, continue. Advent Trinity Unfiltered with Ivy.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, I mean, it's just honestly the way I would say it is I like to be real. And I would tell them that like I was born in social media, like I understand how it is. And it's just like back to what we were saying like a few episodes back, this is the digital age, right? Mm-hmm. So everything is revolved around social media, technology. So when it's just like you have to be immersed in that, right? So if it comes to quizzes or polls, they find it interesting because it's what we've been known to for a majority of our life.
And what I think is that it is really different between pushing a message in our face but not really interacting with us, and then having something that we can have, you know, an interaction with, something that we can have a conversation with, because like Ivy was saying, we always grew up with technology in our face, and social media came out when we were really young, and a lot of our interactions and conversations that we have are online, on social media. And people like older generations always make fun of us. They're like, oh, you need to get outside and touch grass because you're always on that phone. You're never talking to people in real life. And I see that a lot. I see a lot of people having conversations online. So you need to be able to have a conversation with us online. And that includes having something interactive.
Yeah, I think that goes both ways because a couple of things, you know, it is affecting our communication aspect. Like older generation need to learn how to communicate online, but younger generation need to learn how to communicate offline. And I've seen that kind of gap because offline communication with Gen Z has become a problem, right? Would you guys agree with that? Like,
yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm not even sometimes, but like a lot of the times, Gen Z they aren't able to differentiate between like you said, like online, which online, you know, you speak your slang, you speak just very unfiltered. But, you know, especially when it comes to in person, they keep that persona on them. And when they do interactions like that, like in person, then it's just kind of a flop.
And I feel like a lot of people have social anxiety within Gen Z.
Yeah.
I see people talking about it all the time, like, oh, I hate talking to people. I hope this person doesn't approach me. Like, all I want to do is just leave. Yeah. I've heard so many people say that before. So I feel like, I don't know if it's directly because we've always been on the internet, but maybe it has something to do with it, why we can always interact online basically with no problems. But in-person interaction is very difficult for a lot of us.
Yeah. And I've noticed this a lot, and I think it's becoming an ongoing problem. But yeah, so we're marketing to you guys, and I know that we're doing marketing. But as far as marketing to you guys and selling online, there's now, as you can see now, all these marketing and sales automation AI. I think they've been created because people know that there's a problem. Okay, and in-person sales is becoming less and less, and online sales is becoming more and more, right? And the problem is, I don't know if you guys seen Black Mirror. I talked to you about this, right?
You did.
And the problem is now is because in-person is becoming an issue, we're all going online, and older generation, specific millennials and Gen Zers that are working together to create these artificial intelligence, you know, it's becoming kind of scary because you don't even know if it's real or not.
Yeah.
Like, you guys need to watch this Black Clover. I mean, it's kind of crazy. How do you know if this podcast is real?
Oh, brother.
We're just AI voices.
Yeah. No, I'm dead serious. They are doing... You guys got to check it out. And that's why they're, you know, people like Elon Musk and people are actually going on to... they're actually going on and rebuttaling about AI because it can't move too fast because it can be very dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Like the Terminator.
It's worse, actually.
Yeah.
It's a lot worse. It's because Terminator was like robots. We're talking about literally you don't even know if it's a human being or a robot. You literally think it's a human being. And so, you know, with this whole chat GPT and stuff like that, you know, it's becoming a... And I wouldn't be surprised if they start automating some of these engagements online, so that you, Generation Z, or we start targeting you and saying, hey, look, other people are engaging, but they're just robots, right? Yes. And so how do you know if it's real?
And a lot of the things I've seen on social media, I've seen it be like an issue that they have so many bots following them. So it looks like they have a lot of followers and a lot of engagement, but they actually don't. It's just a bunch of bot accounts.
And it's, and it might get to a point where these bots become artificial intelligent bots, and they start communicating with you. And how do you know if it's real, And so I think that, we do have to in some sort of fashion way, convince Generation Z to become personal, right? I mean, would you guys agree?
Yeah. I actually am like really scared about like what the technology will be like, because like I'm hearing things about like how robots are already taking over jobs, like ChatGPT, like that's crazy. Like 2 years ago I was writing an essay from scratch. Like I don't want it to make it seem like I use ChatGPT for my essays. I don't, I swear. But like it's just really scary how like technology is advancing like so fast.
Yeah.
Yes. And I see it being a problem for a lot of people, especially, people who have to deal with something that can write, or even services like travel agencies, for example. ChatGPT, I've seen like travel influencers use ChatGPT completely to book their trips and everything. Like they don't even need to go through a travel agency, because they'll just have ChatGPT tell them, here's where you should go, here's how long you should stay, here's the hotel you should stay in, everything like that. So even, services are at risk because of the AI technology that we have nowadays.
It's funny you say that, because what are you interning here for, Bree?
Content writing.
And now that you know about all this artificial intelligence, and actually getting your hands on to you've actually been hands on with AI Synthesia and ChatGPT and some different systems that we use to help with content creation and vlogs now, and we're starting to use that for some of our clients to better perform our jobs now. How do you see this? I mean, is it concerning to you as a content writer?
It is, but I also notice whenever I use it, it is so bad at having proper grammar and also structuring things correctly. So I feel like it can outline, for now, it's going to advance significantly in the future because it's grown so much. But I essentially have to write everything on my own, and then it'll just tell me, like, here's how you should outline it so far. So right now, I feel like it's not that much of an issue, but I can see how this could definitely become a huge issue in the future.
Well, because companies are going to become more reliant on it, right? And especially now with Grammarly. Grammarly just came out with their own AI. Well, actually, I don't think they came out with their own AI. I think they're integrated with ChatGPT, and because you can be able to write on Grammarly, and then it fixes all this grammar problems. But a lot of businesses are starting to eliminate workforce because they don't need that many content writers anymore.
Yeah, have y'all seen how Photoshop got AI? So then now like people who do like video editing and image editing, like it's getting like a little concerning for them, because I mean AI is actually like really impressive when it comes to like, I mean, you can just like choose which part of the image you want to change, and then there's multiple options to how you want it. You just put in a description and it gets it for you. But it actually is like genuinely concerning.
And I've seen it for people with graphic design, because it can like create a bunch of art that looks pretty good depending on what you're doing. And also singers. There was a whole video on TikTok, and it blew up just a few months ago, where they had a ghostwriter, like someone who just writes the songs. They created a whole song with AI using celebrity voices, and it sounded pretty realistic, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's, it's funny you guys talking about that. That's what the first episode of new season of Black Mirror is. It's talking about, video AI and how, movies and it's actually really scary. I know that you guys, well, Ivy's, you're 18 now, you can watch it, but
hey, I've watched an episode or two.
Don't tell your dad. If your parents give you permission to watch it, watch at your own discretion. It is pretty gruesome and scary. So I would not recommend it for anybody who's under 18. So just, personally. And so, we talked about the point of view of marketing is slight. What does that mean? What does that mean to you guys?
Okay, so that was actually going to be the title of the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, you got the point of view, right? The POV part. And marketing aside, that's just saying that, like, after we talk about, what we talk about in this podcast where we discuss user-generated content, tangible experiences, gamification, then marketing becomes just a little bit more easier for you.
Gotcha. You know what's funny? They act like I don't know anything. I didn't know POV. They were like, "Oh, Brian doesn't know that." I mean, I think we coined that, but just saying. So we're going to be talking more and more about Generation Z. Next one, it's funny because everything that we're talking about, it boils back to the customer journey pyramid, which is on our website, and what I would recommend you listening and viewing this is, if you haven't already read it, have seen it, it's a pretty simple step of how marketing works. It's awareness, engagement, conversion, delight, and advocation. And if you don't understand the formula, then you don't understand where to invest your money and how to invest your money, right? And I think the biggest thing is that a lot of people are neglecting the fact that we need to focus on the pyramid. Is actually, it's funny because the bottom is awareness. A lot of people are not investing enough in awareness, right? They're not investing enough in letting people know that they exist and who they are, right? And so we'll talk about that later in our final episode to kind of put this all together. But it's all coming together. You guys are starting to understand why is it important. You guys are listening to Generation Z. These ladies are giving you guys proof of why we built this pyramid and why it exists and why you guys need to start implementing this into your marketing. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back with another episode with the Gen Z marketing. Once again, this is Brian, and we will see you next time.